Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial. It's nice to be with you in another video on data related tutorials, and this time around I am starting a new series on Dax. Yes, DAX. Dax. Dax is a language used in Power BI, and this tutorial is going to help us to see things about the Dax language. So the tutorial will be using Dax Studio to help viewers see how Dax formulas behave, especially Dax formulas that relates to measures or tables. So that's what it's strictly going to be looking at. So I encourage you to come along with me and then let's learn this together. First, we need to install the Dax Studio. And so that's what I want to do now. So I'm here at Google and I want to get Dax Studio. That's just what I put in. Fine, it gives me other options. So I go for Dax Studio download. And here I see downloads Dax Studio, so I'm going to go in there. Dax Studio has come a long way, like you can see here, and so I'm going to take the first one and install it. So the first one at top there, and then save. So I'm going to put it in. I got a software here, so I'm going to just put it in there. I'm going to watch it download. Like here, it's complete. So I'm going to click here. Yeah, I want it to install. You could say install for me, but I'm going to use this, and yes, I'm going to accept it. So just like other softwares, it goes same. I'm just going to accept all its default. Yes, I want it to be an add-in in Excel, and that's how we go. And where do I want it to be? I'm going to accept all of this as default, and I encourage you to do same and create a shortcut. Of course, yes, create one, install it, and there we go. And finished with that. Yes, you could have this ticked so that it launches it. Let's just do that. Finish. And let's see what comes up. So this is what you see when it's coming up, and that is it here. So what it does is that it comes up as a window of its own, but it comes up with this connect here, this dialog box connect here. So what it's trying to do, it wants to connect to any Power Pivot model, or it wants to connect to any Power Pivot file, but they have to be opened. And that's the important thing about it. They have to be open. But for now, I want to close the window because I want to show you how we can use it within Excel. So if you open an Excel file that has got data in its data model, then Connect picks it for us, and we can just click Connect and start working with the objects inside it. So I'm going to cancel here, and I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to open Excel. Now, when I open Excel, it's going to bring this for me. It's going to say publisher has been verified, its name and all of this and so on. Yes, just accept it and say install. So that's it. And the reason why we are accepting it, you'll get to know that soon. Okay. So I'm going to open this. Let me open this because it contains the data that we'll be working on. So here it is. So we'll be working on this data. But let me just quickly show you that up here, we do not have an add-in tab. So what we do is just go do that. We click File and Options, and we go to Add-ins. And look right here, you're going to find out that your Dax Studio is in a COM add-in type. So we're going to come down here and go to COM and then go, and we see here we've got Dax Studio Excel add-in. It's ticked here. If it's not ticked, you just go and tick it and then OK. Okay, and then the next thing we would do is to come to options here, and we go to customize ribbon, and then we want our add-in to also show in our tabs. You see at the ribbon. So here it's not showing, so we click this and OK, and there it is. We have it here. So if you click on it, you're going to find your Dax Studio here. So since we have our add-in here, the next thing we want to do is to have this data in our data model. So what we do, we go to the data tab, and in that data tab we would go to from table. Now from table, it expects us to use an Excel table. So what I'm going to do is convert this to an Excel table, and that's super easy. So we just, while our cursor is anywhere in this table, we go to format as table, and then we just select just anything. Yes, our table has got table header, so that's okay. So that's fine. You could take it off if you don't want it, which is okay. And you could also take off the filter by pressing Shift Control L, and that takes it out. You could also use whatever you want to give the headers a fill color. And so let's just give it this as a fill color, and let the text be white, just for presentation. Okay, so we now have it as an Excel table. So at this point, we go to the data tab and we say from table. We click from table, and that is it here. It's here for us. So we will not be doing any adjustment. We will not be doing any changes on the table. What we just want to do is to load it into a data model. So you don't click close and load, but you click this one. And so we're going to click this because we want it added to our data model as a table, and then we just click on load. Okay, so we have it now in our data model, and we're going to rename it. So I'm going to right click on it and then just click on rename, so that we have a name for that table. So we're going to give it orders. Okay, and we hit it, and yes, renamed. And so it's renamed here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to refresh it. Okay, so that it has that in there. So once we've done that, we have our tables and we have it in here. Once we've done that, all we need to do is now go to our add-in and then click on Dax Studio. So Dax Studio opens up, and you can see that our table is recognized here as a Power Pivot model. So I'm going to click on connect. And so when you click on connect, what happens is that it connects to your table. So this is our table. This is all the headers of our table, and we have it here. So here you could use Dax formulas here, but Dax formulas that return tables. Dax formulas that return tables. Dax formulas that might be used in creating new columns in pivot tables would not work here. So it's made to return tables or measures that return tables. So it's also very helpful in the sense that if you have your Dax formulas that return tables, you could test them here to see what exactly they're doing. So this whole tutorial will be looking at different Dax formulas and what actually they do when we use them to create measures in Power BI. So while we might not be going into Power BI to use them, we just want to understand how these Dax functions behave. So that is why I'm creating this series for us. So I also want it to be very short so that you can learn something, you could go with it, practice it, and then come back to do further practice on your own. So the last thing we will want to do today is to return this table. We want to output this table here. Okay, so for you to do that, every Dax formula that you enter in Dax Studio, it has to start with evaluate. So I'm going to select that evaluate, and if I should write orders just like this, I could run it here, or I could hit F5 to run it. So you can see F5 there to run it. So let's run it from here. And that is it. So you can see our table here has been returned, and you could do a lot here in order to work with these Dax functions. Okay. Now, I might also want to return. I just want to show you something that it's possible here. Let's go and do evaluate, and what I want to do is use a Dax function called values, and values takes a table or takes a column. So I'm going to use a column in this regard. So we're going to have orders, and I want to use let's just have one of these tables that okay, let's just have regions. Okay, so, and that closes it, and that's what we have here. Now if I should hit F5, which is to run the same as this, if I hit F5, what it returns is this first one up here. But if I select this, and while it's selected, we run it F5, you see it returns this. So it allows you to test a lot of things, line by line. You just select it, and after you've selected it, you can run it. So that's what it does here. I could select this run, and I get this table, and I could select this run, and I get this out of it. Okay, so we're going to be doing a lot of Dax functions and seeing how they behave, so that when we use them in Power BI, we are able to understand what is happening, and if at all we have errors, we know how to fix them. So I look forward to seeing you in other videos that will be coming up in this series. If you don't mind, you may want to subscribe so that you keep you keep along with the videos that will be coming up. One thing that you need to learn and learn again. Sometimes when you are implementing it, you discover a lot of new things. So come along so we learn DAX and learn how to use it in Power BI. Thanks for watching. Have a nice time.